Good morning. Today we are going to analyze arithmetic sequences and series. Now, a sequence is a function in which the domain is the set of consecutive integers. If they don't give you a domain, automatically we know that the domain will start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. We have two types of sequences. We have a finite, which we only have a certain amount of terms, and we have an infinite in which it continues on forever and beyond. Now we're going to be looking on this section into arithmetic sequences, and the difference between consecutive terms will be constant. So the difference between each of the terms will be exactly the same. If the difference is not constant, then the sequence will not be arithmetic. So let's go into example number 1. On example number 1, it says, decide whether each sequence is arithmetic. So in order to decide if the sequence is arithmetic, we need to be able to find the difference between each of the terms. Ideally, you want to be able to do the second number minus the first one. So -6 minus -10 will be 4. Or we can just do it and say, what's it increasing by? In this case, -6 and -4, -6 and -2 is increasing by 4. -2 to 0 is increasing by 2. So ideally, you want to be able to subtract the second one minus the first one, or we can just do it in our head. -2 minus -6 is 4. What's it increasing by? 2. In this case, these ones are increasing by 2, these ones are increasing by 4, and the 6 and the 10 is increasing by 4. If you notice, the difference is not the same. It's not constant, so this is not arithmetic. Let's look into letter B. We have another sequence. We want to be able to determine if this is an arithmetic sequence. So let's go and see what is it increasing by. We can do 11 minus 5, which is 6. 17 minus 11 is 6. It's increasing by 6. Increasing by 6. 35 minus 29 is 6. 41 minus 35 is 6. In this case, the difference is exactly the same throughout, so it is constant. So in this case, this sequence, it is arithmetic. Now, whenever they ask you guys to find the rule for the n term, they ask you guys to find the equation that will give you all of the terms on the sequence. So every time they say rule or n term, they ask you to find the equation. So that's a key concept that you need to keep in mind. So the n term, or the equation of an arithmetic sequence, with the first term being a sub 1 and the common difference is d, is given by the following formula. Remember that on the last section that we covered, we determined that any arithmetic sequence was a linear equation. And as you guys will be able to tell, whenever we simplify this formula, it will look just like a linear equation, like 2x plus 5, 1/2 x plus 3, 5x minus 2. In this case, the first term is a sub 1. So a sub 1 is the first term. D will be the difference. Let's go and start with example number 1. It says, Mike has been saving money for his son's college education during the last 18 years. During the first month that he was born, Mike saved $32. So the first month was $32. Second month, he saved 47. The third month, he saved 62, and the fourth, 77, and so on. We need to be able to write the rule for the n term. If they're asking us to find the rule for the n term, they're asking us to find the equation that will give you all of the amounts of the sequence, all of the numbers of the sequence. We have to use this formula, and I note that some of you guys are able to find the equation just by being able to find the slope and then be able to come up with the y-intercept, just like we did on the last section. But I need you guys to be able to use the formula that's given, because the problems will get a little more complex as we go through this section. First, let's go and list the sequence. We have 32 for the first month, 47 for the second month, 62 for the third, 77 for the fourth, and so on. I need to be able to find the n term or the equation. So let's go and find the n term. That'll be a sub n is equal to a sub 1, which is the first term, plus n minus 1 multiplied by the difference. We need to be able to plug in only the a sub 1, which is the first term, and the d. We don't want to plug in the n because the n has to be part of our equation. In this case, a sub n is equal to a sub 1 is the first term, that is 32, plus n minus 1, and I need to find the difference. To find the difference, just like we did it on the previous example, we'll do 47 minus 32, which is 15. And notice if you do 62 minus 47, you also get 15. 77 minus 62 will also give you 15. So the difference will be 15. And now we just need to be able to simplify. We're going to use the distributive property. N times 15, negative 1 times 15. So let's rewrite it. A sub n is equal to 32. N times 15 will give you 15n. Negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. And we're just going to combine all like terms. That'll give you a sub n is equal to 15n plus 17. And this is the equation that will give you all of the terms of the sequence, so how much money he saved every single month throughout the 18 years. So if you want to be able to find out how much he saved on the 5th month, you'll be 15, you plug in a 5, plus 17. If you want to find out how much he saved on the 10th month, now that we have the n term or the equation, we can just plug in a 10. That'll be 150. Plus 17 will be 167 on the 10th month, and so on. Now, on the left-hand side, we have a question that says, how much does he need to save during the 20th month for his son's education if he is to follow the same sequence? So now that we have the formula, the n term, and we want to be able to find out a sub 20. That means we want to find out how much he saved during the 20th term. That will give me a sub 20. That will signify that is how much he saved on the 20th month. It will be 15, but instead of the n, we're going to plug in a 20 plus 17. A sub 20 is equal to 15 times 2 is 30, add 0, plus 17. So during the 20th month, or on the 20th month, he needs to save $317. Let's continue to example number 3. On example number 3, it says, Henry loves bunnies. He loves them so much that he began taking them from his neighbor. When he arrived, his neighbor had 50 bunnies. Henry traveled back and forth each day taking 4 each time. That is all that he can carry out one time. Write the first 5 terms of the sequence and then find the rule for the n term. We have, when he first arrived, he had 50 bunnies. That will tell you that a sub 1 will be 50. Henry traveled back and forth each day, taking only 4 bunnies at a time. And that will be your difference. The difference between each of the terms will be -4 because he's taking them from his neighbor. So whenever you have a word problem, you want to be able to identify what information are they giving you. It says, write down the first 5 terms for the sequence. Then you need to be able to find the rule for the n term. Remember, if we're looking for the n term, we're looking for the equation. On the first day, the neighbor had 50 bunnies. Then came in Henry and he took 4. So the next day he had 46. The next day he had 42. The next day he had 38. The next day he had 34. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Now let's go and find the n term. We're going to go the same process that we did on example number 2. Let's write down the equation. A sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 multiplied by the difference. Remember that you need to be able to memorize this formula. And then let's plug in the information that we have now. A sub n is equal to, remember the only thing that you need to plug in is the a sub 1 and the d. A sub 1 is 50 plus n minus 1, and the difference is -4. Now we can just use the distributive property to simplify. Multiply the n times the -4, -1 times -4. That'll give me a sub n is equal to 50 plus n times -4 is -4n. Negative times a negative is +4. We are going to combine the like terms. That'll give you a sub n is equal to -4n plus 54. This will tell you how many rabbits or how many bunnies the neighbor ended up with. So if you want to be able to find out how many rabbits he had on the 10th day, you just plug in a 10 for the n, and so on. Let's continue with example number 4.